Are you a little worried when looking into the future with all the news about climate change, overpopulation, and technological unemployment? Well, you're not alone. So in this video, we will have a look at possible solutions already in the making. Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Matthew and this is the second video in the Our Future series, where I look at new technologies that are coming in the next 10 to 20 years. If you haven't watched the first video, I highly recommend to watch it because there I show all the sources and explain why everything will accelerate very much in the future. So in this video, I really just keep on the problems and the solutions that we are facing within the next 10 to 20 years. So without further ado, let's go. Let's start with air pollution. We can survive some days without food and some time without water, but most people cannot survive without air for even just a couple of minutes. And still we continue to pollute the most important resource for our bodies with our industries. We dump about 40 billion tons of CO2 into the atmosphere just by burning fossil fuels. I remember when I was in LA and the lockdown started due to the coronavirus. Usually there's a lot of smog with all the traffic, but during the lockdown I took this picture in Venice when almost no cars were driving around. I mean, it almost looks like a painting. I don't even want to go into too much detail about how polluted air is bad for you and how the cities that got hit hard by the coronavirus were also the cities with bad air pollution anyway. I think we all can agree that fresh air is healthy, so let's take a look at how upcoming technologies are trying to achieve that. First, commuting traffic will be greatly reduced due to upcoming flying electric cars, hydro cars, and virtual reality with home office. We are furthermore seeing a slow but steady transformation from using fossil fuels to generate electricity to renewable sources like wind and sun. The problem was always to generate enough energy and store it. But soon with quantum dots, solar panels will triple their output. And there are a lot of different storage solutions in the making, like the flow battery using molten salt liquids that are 5 to 10 times more durable than lithium-ion batteries. Again, if you want technical aspects, you have to research them someplace else. I'll just focus on what is coming, not how it works. Another thing to consider about reducing air pollution is the whole manufacturing sector. It will transform vastly because of 3D printing, and eventually we will outsource a great deal to the moon. Yes, you heard that right. Factories might soon be on the moon 3D printing stuff to later transport it to Earth or Mars. Back to Earth and into our oceans. We produce roughly 300 million tons of plastic every year, of which 8 million tons end up in our oceans. An estimated 5 trillion plastic pieces currently litter our oceans. We have floating garbage islands twice the size of Texas, threatening the life of millions of marine animals. 3/4 of our reefs are in jeopardy, and if nothing changes, 90% of all reefs will be gone by 2050, threatening 25% of this world's biodiversity. To solve this problem, the ocean cleanup company started to build so-called interceptors that are cleaning rivers worldwide. They started in Southeast Asia with the top polluting rivers and plan to clean 1,000 rivers over the next 5 years, which would reduce ocean pollution by 80% already. If you want to support them, head over to theoceancleanup.com. Now about coral reefs. There are numerous coral regrowth technologies under development, but one clearly standing out is the work of David Vaughan, who figured out a way to regrow 100 years worth of coral in under 2 years. Next, we have worldwide deforestation, especially the Amazon forest in South America. Every year we are losing around 18 million acres of forest. To fight this biodiversity extinction force, a British company founded by ex-NASA employees developed tree planting drones. These drones map an area to identify prime planting locations, then fire a bunch of seed pods tucked inside biodegradable missiles into the ground. Add in some nutrition dispensers to speed up the growth process, and 6 drones can plant 100,000 trees a day. The company is aiming for an army of 10,000 drones to replant 1 billion trees a year. Another driver of deforestation is livestock and the required food supply. Roughly 37% of the globe's landmass and 75% of our freshwater resources are devoted to farming, 11% for crops, 89% for beef and dairy. We already talked about the impact of possible 3D printed food in the first video of this series, but there are more solutions coming up. For example, vertical indoor farming, which requires 90% less water than traditional agriculture, while producing yields 350 times greater as well. An AI-controlled LED provides the perfect wavelengths of light each plant needs to thrive, and nutrients are misted directly into the plant's roots, so they do not require any soil. One company doing this at the moment is True Garden. You can check out their YouTube channel to find out more about it. You want to hear a scary fact about meat? It takes 15,000 liters of water to produce only 1 kilogram of beef. There's enough water in one adult steer to float a US Navy destroyer. Adding in the unnecessary cruelty towards animals in our growing population, this definitely is a very inefficient and unsustainable food production source in the future. But for all meat lovers out there, fear not. We are already able to grow any type of meat from a single stem cell in bioreactors. This will require 99% less land, roughly 90% less water, and will produce about 80% less greenhouse gas. A cultured burger cost $330,000 in 2013. Ouch. Memphis Meats at least got it down to $2,400 in 2018, which is still unaffordable for the most. But today Alpi farms can sell it for $50 a pound. Memphis Meats believes with improved technology the cost will be around $5 in a couple of years. That sounds more like it. That alone will save a lot of water, which is really important. Today 900 million people lack access to clean drinking water. According to the UN, by 2025 half the globe will be water stressed. Besides using vertical farming and less traditional livestock to preserve natural water resources, there are also many new technologies in the making to generate water, like the slingshot designed by Cayman. It is a water purifier the size of a mini fridge, capable of running off any combustible fuel, including dried cow dung. Anyhow, this invention can purify from any source: polluted groundwater, salt water, sewage, so all the good stuff. One machine provides water for 300 people a day, and Cayman even got a deal with Coca-Cola to use their distribution network to get the slingshot purifier to water-starved countries. Now, considering the overpopulation, after we looked at possible solutions for food and water, we need to address the housing and employment for the estimated 9 billion people on this planet by 2030. This will probably be achieved by 3D printing houses. The company New Story has already 3D printed 800 square foot homes in 48 hours for the cost of between $6,000 and $10,000. And that was in 2010 after an earthquake hit Haiti. Currently, New Story is creating the world's first 3D printed community in Mexico for homeless people, and we are not talking about square bunkers. Oh no, these are actual nifty modern design homes, complete with wraparound porches. China already builds skyscrapers, and mansion-like buildings are also already being printed out in Dubai using Apis Core 3D printing machines. Give this another 5 to 10 years and this will be a widely spread standard. But won't 3D printing threaten the whole $12 trillion manufacturing sector and all the jobs? Not only that. Because of technology advancing, especially AI and robotics, the automation threatens roughly 50% of all existing jobs in the US over the next decades and 85% of the rest of the world. But, historically speaking, more tech meant more business, and new business led to more jobs. Theoretically, workers have been on the fast track to obsolescence since the early 1800s. Back then, 90% of all Americans were farmers. Today it's less than 2%. The agrarian economy morphed, first into the industrial economy, next into the service economy, and now we are in the information economy. Automation produces more jobs than it takes away. The Harvard Business Review recently published a research that suggests that firms achieve the most significant performance improvements when humans and machines work together. BMW, for example, replaced their traditional automated assembly line with human-robot teams and saw an 85% increase in productivity. Another research from McKinsey shows that in many different countries, including Russia and China, the internet created 2.6 jobs for every one it destroyed. So the actual challenge is not in providing enough jobs for the people, but actually retraining the people as more and more jobs and industries are being transformed and will create new and different jobs. Okay, I know this was a lot to take in for this very short period of time, but maybe I was able to shift your focus a little bit away from this doom and gloom media coverage of the world is ending and a little bit more into the brighter version of our future, because we have solutions and we know about the threats and we are working on them. So we as humanity are not that doomed. This is just one side of the picture, okay? Everything is still open, we can still save this planet, we can still overcome the problems. And also, I don't think it's beneficial for humanity to always have coverage of every bad thing that's happening. I mean, I think 80 to 90% of the news is like bad stuff happening, right? And I don't think it's helpful, because people will actually always believe they are in a bad place and everything is bad anyway, so what can we do about it? But it's just half of the picture, and I think the mainstream news as they are at the moment are outdated, and this is also the next topic of this video series. The last video, number 3, will be about outdated systems. So we will have a look at mainstream media, our governments, the financial system, the education system, the weapons industry, and so on and so forth. Next week, however, we will continue with the Find Purpose series. And with that being said, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and got value out of it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Have a wonderful time and see you next week.